All right, my fine folks, what the hell is going on? And I always start looking for stuff to drink as soon as I hit the damn record button. I trip myself out sometimes. And you see how much I got left. Goodness gracious. Anyway, this is going to be I hope this be a short video. I never know how long this stuff is going to last when I do it. But I wanted to do a final discussion on Orange is the New Black. I did one after 2 seasons, and now a day or two ago I finished watching. I did a video then. It was about an hour and a half long of me just rambling about shit. Yeah, I was like, nah, I don't want to post that. So but my takeaway from the show is that it's not bad, but it's a hard watch for me. You have to be in a certain headspace to watch that show. Over the 7 seasons, my main gripe with the show is the balance of tone. In my head, I'm thinking that, okay, I'm watching the show. I'm like, okay, this show is all over the fucking place. Do you want to be Brooklyn Nine-Nine or you want to be Law and Order? Which one? Pick a lane. Stay in that motherfucker. Excuse me. Stay in that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Because it's all over the place. And you know, Orange is the New Black, show about women in prison and the guards and all the shit that they go through and all that other shit. And it is outrageously cartoonish at times. And then the subject matter don't relate with some of the supposed comedy that's thrown in there. I mean, that sometimes it's like right there. You'll go from somebody either get beat the fuck up or raped or having some kind of emotional breakdown straight into some goofy ass bullshit. Yeah, that's right, cat. You're just like, what the fuck? Tone is just imbalanced. Yeah, whatever, man. But that's my main gripe with the show. Some other gripes I got with it is some of the writing. Sometimes some of the jokes that it seems like people just had little jokes that they just wanted to just throw in there. Like they had like 30 people in the writing room and there's some shit somebody said and they said, oh, I want that to be in there. And they just find a way to just plug the shit in there. Just, just that. If you watched any Marvel movie reviews, and they always talk about liberty and shit like that, when you got all these serious situations going on and having that mixed with humor. Well, a lot of the gripe people had with, I'm gonna have to find another word to use other than the gripe, with the Marvel movies is, especially the more comedic ones, is they'll have some stuff go down and then right after that, not even right after that, in that same scene, as everybody is kind of grasping what's going on, somebody have some wisecrack come out their mouth that's just kind of like inappropriate. Something like some special kid would say because he don't know no better. Yeah. What, cat? What you want? I can't even see you. That lamp is in my face. I cannot see what the hell. What, cat? You're making all that noise and you over there licking yourself. So that's another gripe I had with the show. And that kind of ruined it for me going forward. Other than some of the just normal character stuff that goes on in there, there's going to always be characters you like and always characters you dislike. But other than the bad comedy timing and shit like that didn't work most of the time, some of the situations in there to move the plot along. Now, I done sat here and watched a bunch of TV. You know what I'm saying? I watch a bunch of TV. And it's obvious. It gets real obvious once you've kind of noticed something in the show and you go off and watch something else to where you like, okay, you see some stuff happening in the show, and like I said, I can't recall every little bit that happens in that show, but to have something totally absurd happen to move the plot along, you know what I'm talking about? It's just like, okay, who the fuck would do that? You know what I'm saying? Even though we in the prison, and a lot of these women are, a bunch of them are just off in the fucking head. They not, some of them are just criminals that did criminal shit, and some of them are like just fucking nuts. But just to have somebody do something totally absurd to be able to just move the plot along is off-putting. It ruins the show. You know, you have to totally turn your brain off. Like who the fuck would do that? You know what I'm saying? Even a nut in the real world would like, nah, I'm not doing that. You know, it's just like it's a bunch of that shit. And they're like, why the fuck would you do that? Why? You know, and that kind of ruined the character, Piper, the main person that they follow during the show. I do not like that character at all. Don't care about nothing that she went through in that whole show, because her whole plot is fucking dumb. It's dumb. You know, she get in there and you got the whole thing. The first season was all right because, you know, she in there, she trying to get a hold of how things going, but you got this whole entitled Karen type thing going on to where she like complaining like she at the fucking grocery store trying to talk to the manager or some shit like that. It's just like, woman, sit your ass down. You know what I'm saying? Just sit your ass down. And a lot of stuff, you know, that whole thing with her and Alex is fucking extra retarded. What? It's probably getting hot. It's late morning, so I'm gonna have to turn the AC on pretty soon. But that whole thing between her and Alex throughout the whole fucking show, I'm just like, you know, did she go through these phases, all this stuff happening, you trying to figure out, okay, what's the timeline of shit that's going on here? Because you'll lose track with how long people are supposed to be in here. And the shit that they got Piper doing, I'm like, why the fuck is she doing all of that? You know for a fact that when she gets there, she has 15 months. A year and a couple of months is her sentence. And then you go, once you get into the fucking show and into the second season, you be like, why the fuck ain't you just sitting down somewhere? Anybody with any common sense, you going to prison, you in a minimum security facility at that, and you can't sit the fuck down? They had this whole thing with her, she ended up getting fucking, Alex got out of prison. She set Alex up to get sent back to prison to kind of supposedly to save her goddamn life with that whole outlandish ass thing, which technically could have been true because the goddamn hitman actually ended up getting into the goddamn prison to try to get her. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, but the thing is, they was just kind of made up after that. After she told her she had her, like, she ain't no, I mean, she was upset, but, you know, they started making out right a little bit after that. I'm like, what? You know, and then, you know, she ended up getting somebody else sent to Max or extending their sentence or something. I'm like, huh? I don't remember what happened first or whatever. I'm just like, she into too much shit. It don't make no goddamn sense. You know, you could throw some stuff like that up maybe on a couple of other characters because, you know, they got time, and mentally they just, you know, like actual criminals, not like, you know, this accidental criminal that she is. She get in the jail and start doing little shit. Now she get the big head to where she thinking she like some kind of. They did this whole Godfather thing with her for a while. He was, yeah, you don't want to fuck with me. And she set motherfuckers up, getting them sent to Max. Then I think she did some shit to the Dominicans. got some time added to one of their goddamn sentences. I think they branded her ass. They got a hold of her ass and and branded her ass with a swastika. And I'm like, little tiny ass little brain. That I was like, I'm sitting there watching. At this point, the show had got demoted from the main TV to the computer. And I hear, I'm like, who the fuck is that screaming and shit? I look over there. The Dominicans got this bitch pinned down with her arm out. And she, they had like a gag in her mouth and hollering and shit. I'm like, that's what your bitch ass get. Run around there like Mr. Big Motherfucker. Miss Big Motherfucker. And the motherfuckers held her down and branded her fucking arm with a swastika. Some shit that they, they figured they would just ruin her by putting that mark on her or whatever the fuck. And she hollering and shit. I'm like, really? From that little burn? You know what I'm saying? Come on now. After all that shit you was doing, you don't deserve to get to holler and cry like that. I'm sorry. I have no sympathy for that character at all. I was hoping that she would just fucking die at some point. And then at the end of the show, after 7 seasons, you figure she only served like 18 months. Because she did get in trouble. And she did get in trouble. But she got let out early. So she was in there for 8 months. But she didn't serve her whole sentence. Her initial sentence was 15 months. She got more time added probably after the riot or whatever the fuck that shit was going on. And then all together, she ended up getting out. I don't remember how. I know they ended up releasing her or whatever the fuck, just to kind of separate her from Alex. It was like a punishment to Alex, I think, for them to get her out of there. But anyway, stupid. She even got, I know she fucked over 3 people. She got that Australian girl that liked her. She got her sent to fucking max. After she was about to get out in 2 days, she set that girl up and had her. I'm like, why? And if you look at the show, then none of that shit need to happen. None of it need to happen as far as moving the plot along, just to show some kind of character arc for her. But it's like everybody else's story is way better than that. Because, when your main character is somebody that don't nobody like, just like, I can't get on board with this. You're not even the good bad guy. You know what I'm saying? The bad guy that everybody like fucking Negan or some shit. Nah, not, well, she definitely ain't gonna be no Negan, but shit, man, fuck, come on. But that ate at me throughout the whole fucking show. All the rest of the characters were all right. I mean, I spent half the time of the show, but that's me. You got to be in a certain headspace to be able to see this shit. And if you watch this show and don't none of it bother you, then fuck you. Aside from all the goofy shit that go on in the show, if you watch this show and it don't bother you, I mean, the way that they got the guards and shit, and especially in the first fucking season where they had, that Mendez with the fucking mustache and that flat top, and I'm just like, just straight up cartoon villain. He was the ass. It was just obvious. You know what I'm saying? That it was just cartoonish as hell. I think after he ended up off the show, once they was done with his little arc, things kind of evened out a little bit, but it was still damn near all the guards. I think I'd say about 7 or 8 out of 10 guards were just asses. You know what I'm saying? Anybody that had any authority was just an ass. You know what I'm saying? If it was a guard that wasn't an ass, it was a guard that you barely saw on screen. Everybody else that got any screen time was a dick or just stupid. If it was a male. And that's going outside of the guards. That's just in general. Before they changed up Caputo to where he was like the only decent male character on the fucking on the show, other than that in the late season 7, that one black guard and that little the black chick that became the warden for about 3 days or however long she had that fucking job. Like for just decent characters. They weren't assholes. I'm just like, come on, man. You know, it's hard to watch. I mean, I don't know what they planned to turn out like, but that just threw me off on the whole show. At that point, once you got past season 3, I was just watching the show because I had already watched 2 whole seasons. And part of 3, I got to the point where I just didn't want to watch it anymore. And I was just trying to get through the show just to be able, you know what, let me just get through it and be done with it. Because if I don't, I'm going to come back to it later anyway. And then I'm going to be like, oh, fuck, shit. You know, it just, I know me, so I just get through it. It only took me a couple of days to get through 7 seasons, which is, yeah. You know, so I didn't get much sleep, but you know, shit else for me to do. Most of the shit was all right. You know, what's that? Tasty got out of fucking prison and then got sent right back in. And I don't think they didn't show what happened. You know, you just know things, you know, which they did for most people. Well, I can say maybe 2 or 3, maybe 3 people they showed that got out of prison. And they showed the effort, you know, of trying to deal with the monitoring and the parole officers and all that other shit, to where it's just like, damn, you gotta work, you gotta report, you gotta pee, you know, it's just all this other kind of stuff. You gotta have a place to stay. And with Tasty, just like boom, she was out. Don't really know. They didn't close that till 5 years later. I mean, 5 seasons or however long, you know, the time don't track with each year, but still, it was like 5 seasons later before they closed that book. She was out, and then next thing you know, she was in. Just like, what? I'm like, what the fuck, you right back? They just got it. And I remember that because I was watching, and they had this big chick in the library. I was like, really? They just gonna recast another big old black girl to do the library? And then I look, I was like, wait a minute, that's the same motherfucker. She back in? I was like, oh man, come on. She done went out and got back. Oh shit. And they didn't show why she was out, you know, till season fucking 7. There's some shit that happened in season 2. Nah, I think it was in season 1. Because that little old black lady came in in season 2. Or it had to be early season. I don't know, whatever, man. 5, 6 seasons later, they finally closed out to show you what happened to her after. Just like, really? It took y'all that long to do that? You know? It took y'all that long to do that. And at that point, you like, the fuck going on? Because that was the other thing, a gripe, was like, they started throwing in all these fucking back, you know, you be watching something and then boom, you just be watching something. And you got to figure it out because it'll be somebody's backstory. Somebody in prison got a backstory. They showing that shit. Who the fuck is this? You know what I'm saying? It'll be somebody way younger. You know what I'm saying? A whole different actor. You got to figure out who the fuck it is. I'm like, I don't even know who the hell this is. And you better fucking speak Spanish, because if anytime they did a background story of anybody that was Hispanic, I might as well just go in and start scrubbing the floors or washing some windows or something until that shit is over with, because I don't speak Spanish. I can't read subtitles. I don't want to spend my whole time at the TV doing this shit right here, trying to read subtitles and shit. All the fucking actors speak English. And they speak English in their respective accents. We get it. You can just have them fucking speak English. You know what I'm saying? You can just have them speak fucking English. They sound like Latinos when they speak English. You can have them speak that way, you know, when they do the background. And even in the prison, you know, I went down to the thing about, I always say, and I mean, just intersected right in the middle is just English, Spanish, English, Spanish, English, 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 Spanish. I'm like, why chop up the dialogue like that? You know what I'm saying? Who the fuck is this show for? English speaking people. You know what I'm saying? English speaking people. Never hear nobody talking about Netflix in Mexico anytime one of them VPN ads pop up on somebody's video and they want you to get a VPN or whatever so you can watch Netflix in other countries. I never hear them mention any Latin countries, Latino countries, Hispanic countries, motherfuckers that speak Spanish. Never hear them. Yeah, South American Netflix. You know what I'm saying? No, you never hear fucking hear. Pretty sure they got access to it, but still, they got VPNs down there. But the target audience is the motherfuckers that's, you know, right here. When you look at my goddamn screen, my Netflix is in English. It's not in Spanish. All my menus and all that shit, when I log in, is all done in English. I'm not in there trying to type in some fucking, some kind of weird Eastern European fucking characters in my shit because I don't know what the fuck that is. No, it's English. Especially when they do the shit for Red. Then it's like, all right, really, who the fuck is this for? Everybody in here speaking English with a Russian accent. You know what I'm saying? We get it. They're Russian. You don't need to have them actually speaking Russian. You just don't. It's just, I have no idea what was going on in Red's backstory. I don't even know what the fuck she did. I watched that whole show specifically for Kate Mulgrew. That's the only reason I watch Orange is the New Black. It's because Kate Mulgrew was in it. I didn't want to watch through Voyager again because I was watching a podcast on that. And I did want to watch Voyager, but I was like, I ain't never really seen Kate Mulgrew and shit. I remember seeing that she was in Orange is the New Black, but I thought she was like a very background character that was only in there for a little while and then you never see her again. Nope, she's in the fucking show. You know, I found out as of watching it. I'm thinking that she was going to be gone at some point and I was just going to stop watching the show, which I thought was going to happen at somewhere in season 2. Well, right around the end of season 2 when V beat her ass with that lock in the sock. I thought she was dead. And I was like, oh well, 2 seasons. I got through that much. I have no interest in watching the show if I'm not watching Red, which turns out to be one of the characters, one of the non-stupid characters in the show. You know, she turned out to be one of the few characters that just wasn't stupid. Like all of the black characters in the show were the prisoners. Were all stupid. The least stupid of it was Poussey. All the rest of them were fucking dumb as hell. Well, I mean that the Muslim chick didn't have, I mean that they put in later on, she ain't really have no goofy shit ass to do. But the character, god damn it, I ain't gonna never get this word right. The characterization of the little hood ass black folks that they had in this is just fucking irritating to watch. As a black person, it is irritating to watch. It's irritating to watch. I'm just like, loud, ghetto, just over the fucking top. It's to where you can't take shit serious when something actually happened to them. You know what I'm saying? I still get choked up when I think about shit that happened in that show. So I have to compose myself when I'm talking about it because I cry when I emote and project. I'm a big crybaby. I can't help it. I had my heart broken one day, and it just stayed to where I just can't. Everything makes me fucking cry, except for this movie I was watching, Girl Interrupted, which I'm only watching because I heard somebody say Girl Interrupted on fucking, and it just happened to be on my Netflix after I watched Russian Doll. I would not be doing a review on that. That story. It's a nice show, but it's fucking crazy. I can't even do a discussion on that. But forgot what the hell I was talking about. Fucking around. No second. Anyway, let's talk about the black folks on that show. Just loud, ghetto, just obnoxiously loud and ghetto. You know what I'm saying? To where it's just like, I see why don't nobody else like y'all. But to be fair, everybody's done that way. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's done that way. It's like they make fun of everybody. It's like you on Family Guy show. You make fun of everybody. Ain't nobody safe. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's safe. But when you see that, it's just like, come on, man. Just really? You know what I'm saying? Just really, man, just like I say, when shit really happens, it throws you the fuck off. Just But a lot of stuff, like I say, I just watched that. I didn't watch it as it was airing, so I don't even know when this show. I didn't even pay attention to the little flavor text where it say when it came out and shit like that. When Poussey died, which I'm just gonna say this. I guess they filmed that shit. It had to happen somewhere around. It seems like it came out sometime right after the fucking George Floyd thing happened, because it's exactly what the fuck happened to George Floyd. They didn't film it that way, but they had to snatch that right out the fucking news. I'm not for sure because I don't know the air date, but man, it's just I was watching it. I'm like, okay, they had Poussey on the floor. They had a little protest, a non-violent protest going on in the cafeteria or whatnot, where everybody was gonna stand on the tables and whatever fuck. And Poussey had came up behind one of the guards because they was doing some of one of the chicks, ended up pushing her on the floor or whatever the fuck happened, and he ended up getting on top of her. And they show Poussey, little black girl. You know, you can just look at her in the show. That is very thin. That's a very thin chick. It's just like anyway, that is a very, very thin woman. And they showed her laying on the ground being subdued, and then you can see like a guard's hand on her shoulder. I can't do the angle, but you can see the guard hand on her shoulder, and all of a sudden she just on the ground like and the next thing you know, she laying down just dead. Then they started describing what happened, after the fallout and all that shit from her dying. And it's just like, okay, I understand what y'all saying, but that ain't what the fuck y'all showed on the camera. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, if y'all gonna pull that shit out the news, show it. You know what I'm saying? Only thing you seen was like a hand on her shoulder. You didn't see no guard just holding her down to where she wouldn't be able to breathe and shit like that. No, they didn't show it. You showing motherfuckers fucking in the showers, eating pussy and shit like that, and titties every goddamn well. Why would you fucking skim off on that? Show it. Don't dig shit out the fucking news if you don't want to just do it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, pick a fucking lane. You want to be Brooklyn Nine-Nine, or you want to be fucking Law and Order? Because Law and Order is damn well known for just pulling their stories right out the fucking news and just putting a different name on that shit. That's one of the things that kind of turned me off on Law and Order. I was just like, really, y'all just gonna snatch that right out the news? I'm like, that just happened like last week. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, just right there. How you even come up with a script that fast? Come on. So I'm like, okay, whatever, man. And then that turned out that was a linchpin for ongoing everything for the rest of the goddamn show. Even towards the end, they did the little backstory on Poussey. They showed her like moving around and trying to figure some shit out, like figure shit out with your life and doing this, that, and the other. I don't know why. At that point, why? That's some shit that should have been done early on in the show. You know what I'm saying? By the time they did that shit, that girl didn't even look the same anymore. Well, the way they do this shit in the show is that motherfuckers in prison look like they in prison. It's kind of like the difference between seeing somebody dating profile and then you get to see them the first time, y'all spend a night together or something like that, or first time you go to somebody's house and they don't give a fuck, and you just get to see their regular face. You know what I'm saying? It's like that. A lot of those women just, I ain't calling nobody ugly. It's just like it ain't a lot of makeup. It's not. It don't work for everybody. Well, that's not what I wanted to say. It looks different on everybody. Some people, it's a bunch of folks in there. I'm pretty sure they have some makeup on. Dealing with cameras and all kind of shit like that. They got something on, but it's whatever they did is designed to give them the plain face look. And some, I was just like, nah. Some people need at least a little makeup. And some folks need at least a little motherfucker. Goddamn. Oh man. But yeah, that Poussey chick, by the time they did her shit, later on in season, I think that was in season 7. She died in season, I don't know what season she died in. Was it 2 or 3? 2? After the end, what happened at these? It was 3. She died in season 3, I think. And by the time they did her backstory, it was fucking 4 seasons later. And then they did when they did Tasty's background, they showed her and Tasty talking on the phone. And they didn't fit. That's not some shit they pulled from way back when. She was talking to Tasty, on the prison phone while Tasty was out. When she got out of prison, while Tasty was trying to figure out, how to, just get it going out there. And Poussey was talking to her on the phone, and it's obvious that this was shot way later, cause they had her have with a hat on. She had this like a stocking cap on her head, and you could see hair. And if Poussey didn't have no hair when she was on the show, you know what I'm saying? She didn't. I mean, her head it wasn't like mine, but it was like really. I mean, like you could see her whole head like that. You know what I'm saying? Her hair was so short that you could see her scalp. It's like that. You know what I'm saying? That's how short I got down. It was just like a really low haircut. It wasn't no fancy swirl. It was just really low haircut. And in season 7 when they did it, I'm not saying this as a bad thing. You could see her talking on the phone with her and blah, 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 blah. And she had the stocking cap on, but the stocking cap came like right here. And you could see just straight up just hair right here. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, yeah, they shot that. They had to pull her back from wherever she was to shoot that little scene to where all she had to do was just kind of show up, sit on the phone and do a couple of lines, and that was it. Except for the stuff that they probably filmed for her background that they did in season 7. That they should have did long ass time ago, but it wasn't. Well, they did do her background back then, but this was some other shit. Well, I'm like, why? It was kind of maybe like a tribute or some. I don't know, but I'm like that really didn't need to be in the show because it wasn't about nothing. You got to see her with some makeup on, how she would normally look out in the real world, which is quite nice. You know what I'm saying? I ain't making fun of it. I just like I saw her. Like I said, this show still choked me up. Stopped watching this shit a couple days ago. Woo! Woo! Yeah, and this is some real world shit here. That actress looked like somebody I knew way back in the day. If you just look at the face, I mean, but it was like, streetwalker chick. Little young, it's like one of them really young chicks you see just out in the streets where their life took a wrong ass turn. Just probably in their early teens and they just barely 20, if that. And they out on the streets. You see them walking around like just straight up crackhead with fuck the short hair and then the same. That's all I could think about every time I watched the show for a while before I was like, every time Poussey is on the screen, I'm like, for some reason, it's like I know that chick from somewhere. And then it clicked one day. I was like, oh, she looked like that crackhead that I knew for way long ass goddamn time ago. They look so much alike. That's all you fucking think about. And I was like, I wonder where she at. Well, that was 20 fucking years ago at least. Hopefully she's locked up somewhere. That's all. I mean, that's all. And hopefully she locked up in a place like that, and she probably in her 40s now. Hopefully, I doubt it, but hopefully, it's either that or dead. So I would rather somebody just be locked up in a prison somewhere, because people be still living lives in prison, especially like that. You know what I'm saying? They'd be like, I'm better in here than I was out there. Ain't shit. So, yeah. You got to see her makeup, and then they end their little thing with her sitting up, smiling and shit, and it's like sad. You know, it's like sad, but I gotta compose myself. Yeah, but I was like, okay, so we got that shit done. And a bunch of the other characters, you know, they did, you know, it's pretty well. If you watch the show, you get to know the characters, which is what you're supposed to do. And then, like, a character that you would not give no shits about. No shits. It's Doggett. You wouldn't give a fuck about Doggett. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't give no shits about Doggett unless you watch that whole show. Now that damn show a tip off of this shit. Because Doggett turned into a pretty good character. And they left little nuggets along the way about Doggett that didn't pay off until the last season with her and her dyslexia. To where if you would think about it, well, people would correct her. Every time, a lot of times she'll say some shit and she'll say some weird shit and somebody will correct her. And you won't pay no mind to it. You think she just some, you know, white trash, somebody that just, you know, don't know the right words for shit and stuff like that, and don't pay off until later on when it's like, yeah, she dyslexic. So a lot of the stuff, she got it from her dad. When you look at some of her little backstory, and when they look at shit, the letters be transposed and shit, so she might say it different. She can read and everything like that. It just, you know, some shit don't look the same to others. You know, she'll pronounce some shit where letters be turned around and you'll correct her and she'll be like, yeah. like you telling me like some shit I don't know. That's what I see. She didn't know that though. But then to have her fuck around and OD because, you know, she was trying to get her GED and she thought she needed extra time for the test, and, you know, she wasn't gonna get no extra time for the test, and so she took the test and didn't think that she was gonna do well on the test, so she just like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? You know, why even try? And she kind of gave up, and then she run across some folks, somebody doing some drugs, and she went and done that shit and OD'd or whatever the fuck happened, ended up killing herself. And then maybe an episode later, or whatever the fuck, they showed Tasty running through some papers, and I'm assuming that there wasn't no other reason for her to be looking through the grades and certificates and shit and see that dog had actually passed the fucking test for the GED when she thought she failed, but she actually passed the fucking test. So even though it's like when they call time, you know, she passed the test and probably wouldn't even finish with it. So she did well enough to pass the test without even doing all of it. So yeah, like I say, she was fucked up after that. And then it's like, and I thought at that point in the show, I was like, I don't want to see nobody else die. And I'm like, I don't like this show, but y'all steady poking me. I'm like, come on, man, goddamn. Like, it's like, okay, and I guess that's part of the whole show is that, you know, life ain't fair. You know what I'm saying? Everybody don't get a happy ending and all this other shit. You deal with what you got, you know what I'm saying? You got a silver linings and all kind of whatever the fucks. Like Tasty got life. Like, really? Y'all, that's how y'all gonna end this shit. This girl got life. Some shit she didn't even do. You know what I'm saying? Even though during most of that bullshit that went on during the riot, I was like, y'all need to chill the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? You got about 2 or 3, maybe 4 different camps up in that whole riot shit. You had the motherfuckers that was outside with Alex. The motherfuckers that's like, we ain't got shit to do with this. We gonna sleep outside and not participate in this shit. And then you got the fucking Hispanics. Then you got the white people in there. Then you got the black folks with that fight for Pusey justice shit. You know, I'm just like, just to have all that just fuck up. Even that dumbass Diaz. That's what I call her. Dumbass Diaz. She's in Russian Doll too. I seen her in Russian Doll. I went from watching that show to watching Russian Doll, who has what they call her, Nikki, the big redhead with the big eyes, and the other chick, the Diaz chick, the one that got pregnant and had the baby from the garden and all that. Yeah, she's in that little show for a while too. So I was like, huh. I do that a lot. Or I'll jump from one thing and then start watching something else, and there'll be some people in it from the shit I just watched. I'm like, huh. And I just saw another show called Another Life, some kind of space show on Netflix that got the chick that played Piper in it. I think she's like the main character or one other main character. And just looking at that shit, I told y'all what I feel about Piper. I saw that show and immediately got mad. I didn't even want to watch. I was like, fuck that show. They got that woman in it. This ain't got that woman in it. I don't even want to see her face no more, man. I don't. Because all I'm going to be thinking about is dumbass shit that happened in Orange is the New Black. And I'm supposed to be watching a whole nother goddamn show. Which is what I was thinking when I was watching Russian Doll. You got, what's that woman, what's her name? Natasha Lyonne? Whatever, the big raspy, big redhead, you know. The only difference in the characters between Orange is the New Black and the show, that Russian Doll, is that character is lesbian in Orange is the New Black, and she's straight in Russian Doll. And you could just put 2 and 2 together and be like, okay, that's one of those people that, you know, they act fine. The acting is fine. It's just that whatever personality, whatever goddamn personality they have is what's going to be in that movie. It's kind of like Sam Jackson or somebody, or one of those big personality people. It don't matter what character name or what movie you put them in, that's the character they fucking play. Or it's just some shit that it's just hard to, you know, cover up, whatever. It just, man. But, you know, whatever. Who else in that show that, like I say, Red is, like I say, she's the main reason I was watching. So I really only wanted to pay attention when Red was doing some stuff. I mean, some decent stuff going on there. I was just satisfied that she just wasn't just over the top, have her doing some over the top goofy ass shit. You know what I'm saying? Until she got on that speed during the riot, when she was looking for some information on something on Piscatella, and that the other girl fucked around and gave her some speed. Fucked around and gave her some speed. It was funny. She already was up on this damn speed, and then the Mexican chick had started crushing up those pills. They thought it was just vitamins, and was like sniffing the shit. It's like, it's better if you sniff it. Fucking Red would sniff that shit. It was funny. She was her head, she was like, whoop. She jumped right the fuck up. I was like, shit. But that's about it. Other than that, I mean, she did do some stupid shit. Some stupid shit just to keep the plot moving. I think this was season 7. When they after the riot, they was already everybody was in the maximum security prison. And she, you know, all she talk about is you know, you watch the show, it's just her and her grandkids. The boys never bring them grandkids and all this other stuff and blah blah blah. And somebody ratted her out during the riot. One of the other old lady, I forget her fucking name, had ratted her out during the after the riot. ratted out for something. I don't remember what the fuck for, but they ratted out for something. And that was kind of close. You know, it's like one of them things you didn't think she would do that, but you know, she got ratted out or whatever for. And I guess they were separated in the new prison they was in. But she was getting ready to go see her grandkids. This is like obviously late in the season, late, you know, in the series, because she had started going, not retarded. She Alzheimer's. I'm gonna guess that they was doing a whole Alzheimer's thing with her because she was forgetting shit and stuff like that. So she was going. They had her in line and everything, going to the visitation and be able to finally go see her grandkids. She was all happy and shit. I'm thinking I'm pretty great to see her go and sit down and talk to the grandkids because they showed up her sons with the grandbaby sitting there waiting for her to get there, and they had another line of prisoners coming in, and that old chick, the rated I was in there, and she saw the old chick and just flipped and just went nuts and went over there and started choking. I'm just like, oh. That is stupid. You know what I'm saying? Now the only thing you can you know, you could put on that is that, okay, at that point in the show, she had already started with the Alzheimer's shit. She wasn't running the kitchen no more because she was forgetting stuff and all kind of shit like that. So she wasn't running the kitchen anymore. So she was just like in retirement, basically, because it wasn't much she can do. They already had her in the block with all the old and special people and shit like that. So I'm guessing she didn't have the wherewithal or just her normal composure that she normally has to be able to see that woman and just let her walk on by and be like, I'll deal with that later. I'm finna go see my grandkids. So where she just like, what are you gonna do with this shit? You know how long it take to choke somebody to death if that's what you try to do? You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, of course she didn't get to see her goddamn grandkids. I'm just like, really show? It's gotta be a better way to write this shit. To have just dumb shit happen. You know, and I watch, like I said, I watch other TV, I watch other shows and shit. Stuff happens and there's reactions and there's movement and progression and all kind of other shit without people just doing retarded ass shit in order to just make that shit happen. It just is, man. One of the few characters I like, Red is one. The other is the transsexual, Sophia. Marcus. It's just one of the characters on there that had some fucking sense. You know what I'm saying? You got the one transgender person in there, and of course it's the show, all the characters in it. She go through some shit, and she have her unreasonable moment or moments. I say moment. The only unreasonable moment she had was when her wife was telling her about the preacher man, and she got jealous. She got jealous that her wife is probably sitting there. This is a post-op transsexual here. This is not just some dude that dressed up like a woman. No, this is a post-op transsexual here. You know what I'm saying? That you know, is just like where the wife is reluctantly supportive of a bunch of this, you know, shit. You know, you ain't marry a motherfucker thinking that they gonna literally change from a man to a woman, you know, during the marriage, and y'all got a fucking kid. So, yeah. And if you just watch the show, that's the only motherfucker in this show that just got off just great. You know what I'm saying? They got off great. Now, like I say, she went through her shit. You know what I'm saying? She ain't get through unscathed. But at the end of the day, if you just taking score, she the one that got out. Everybody else is still in prison. Some people that got out of prison and got sent back in. She got out of prison with a settlement. You know, she got out of prison with some money. They wanted her to testify, not testify. They wanted her to not testify or file a lawsuit against the company that's running the prisons and all that other shit. So they came to her and offered her some, because she was being mistreated. And man, look, you like 300. She was like 300,000 and blah blah blah, whatever the fuck else, you know. Early 300,000 and early release. They're like, we'll pay you $300,000 and let you up out this motherfucker. You know, if you don't participate in this other shit that's going on against the prison. She was like, shit, okay, which is fine. But at that point, I would at least double that. I'd be like, okay, double that, and you got a deal. Big company like that, $300,000. I'm like, nah. I mean, you would shoot for 7 figures, but six figures are due. But you got to be in the mid 6. You can't be like down in the low 6. I'm like, okay, 6. Okay, I'll take that. You know, and to get out of jail free. Yeah, okay. Well, not get out of jail free. You get paid out of jail, motherfucker. So Fear got off. You know, but most of the other people that got, man, looking, I'm done that, and I'm thinking about it, because I'm not gonna go into all the characters, but I'm thinking about the people that got out of prison and ended up right back in that motherfucker. Who at the end of that show got out of prison and ended up back in there? The chick with the unibrow ultimately got out, but they let her. She got released, which was, man. To show you what kind of bullshit this now. It ain't bullshit that the show is going, because it's just they pulling this shit out of somewhere. They not just making this shit up. All the stuff that's going on in this show, they not just pulling this shit out their ass. They got reference material from somewhere where she got released the same time somebody else did. Nah, she got released the same time Piper got out. Except for they was separating all the people that was getting out. Piper went in one line, and the caveman looking fucking Latina chick went into another line, and Piper got out, and they all got released out of prison, like officially released out of prison. But all the Latinos that they let out went straight to ICE. They went out the prison and straight on the ICE bus. I was like, what? I was like, man, you already be watching this shit choked up on shit that's happening on the show, and you just like, really? This chick was happy she was getting out. And then while she was in ICE, her boyfriend that been waiting all that time for her to get out came up there to finally visit her at the ICE detention center, and they snatched him up. They was like, well, you show us your green card and blah, blah, blah. Like, motherfucker, yo, talking about your green card expired and all this other shit, and you went your stupid ass up there? You should know that. You be like, look, my green card is not, it ain't where it's supposed to be right now. I don't give a damn if it's in the process of getting there. If it ain't there, don't fucking go. You know what I'm saying? Don't fucking go. So he ended up getting snatched the fuck up too. Just like, get the fuck out of here. The other little chick, one of the Ditsy twins, the tall Ditsy twin and the shorter Ditsy twin, with all that do all the makeup and all that other kind of shit, the whole mean pretty girl routine they had going on. The Sharma, she got out of prison. I don't remember her even getting released, but she got out. She was out on parole and got picked up for being in the fucking club, not having no fucking ID. She ended up right in fucking ICE. I was like, okay, well, shit, they trying to get a hold of her mama. Maybe she the one go. Nope, it's the motherfucker that you thought was gonna get picked up. You know, the funny looking Hispanic chick. She ended up talking with this other chick. She found a way to get in the system, learn what she needed to learn, and able to fight her case. And she ended up winning. She ended up getting out. And ended up having to go to wherever the fuck she was from to be with her, which is probably good for them. Get the fuck up out this country. Because her boyfriend got deported. You know what I'm saying? When they picked him up, he got deported. So once she finally went through all that shit and she won her goddamn case, and she was free. She went in prison. She went none of no ICE shit no more, none of that. And she got fuck up out of here and went to see her. She was free. That basically is it. The other little chick, back to Colombia, which was kind of sad. It really was. The way they showed it, they showed her sitting on the plane, just sitting there, and then they just started showing all the people around her disappear one by one until she was the last one. Like, poof. And I was like, that's what I have to do when I be trying to hold back the little tears. I be like, man, woo, woo. You gotta wait till that little feeling go away before you start trying to talk to shit. Like, God damn it, you motherfuckers, you got son of a. But yeah, Red, Sophia, Alex, Piper's on and off again forever fucking girlfriend, wife, whatever the fuck you want to call them. You know, her soulmates or whatever the fuck they are. I didn't want to. She act like she got some fucking sense. You know what I'm saying? She was the one trying to talk fucking Piper out of doing all the dumb shit she was doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you need to chill the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, Piper was on some shit. So there was some redeeming parts about the show. Like I said, for most people, it would be a great watch. I think somebody just said it was a good watch, but for most people, yeah, it'd be a great watch. For me, no, because I'm looking too deep into it. You know what I'm saying? And for somebody to be as empathic as I seem to be these days, it's hard for me to watch shit like this. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, now if I was sitting here with somebody, I spend the whole time like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? But shit, I'm sitting there, I'm like watching. Like I said, I was waiting for the show to be over after season 3, man. I really was. I was just like, this shit is, and it wasn't because of the whole drama aspect of it and all the shit happening and you got tears and it's the other shit that turned me off. You know, like at the end, season whatever the fuck, once they got into the Litchfield Max, you know, you got I'm like, really, we're in a whole nother facility here. All these guards are just as dickish. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, come on, man. I mean, we gotta have some other angle we can play here. You know, we gotta be able to have some other angle we can play here other than the guards suck and they do stupid shit. And it's just like, come on. And then they had that one fat chick guard, which, you know, in my previous video that I shot about this that didn't get uploaded. I was like, man, don't have somebody that look like that play an asshole character. You know what I'm saying? If you gonna pick somebody, you know who I'm talking about. I forgot the goddamn name of that fat round white guard, the female guard, who the fuck is she guarding or preventing to do anything? That woman, oh man. But I'm like, don't, you know, if you want to have, because she supposedly was supposed to have some kind of comedic role or whatever, but nothing she did was funny. She just looked gross, which I'm fully aware that is a whole human being actor behind that, playing that role. But I'm talking about the character. I'm not talking about the actress. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can't really separate the two, but that's what the fuck I'm doing. Don't have somebody that look like that play an asshole. You know, whatever. I mean, she got paid to do that, so whatever it is, but I mean, just, no. Don't do it, man. Don't do it. It's just like, there's nothing endearing about that character at all. You're hard to look at and you're hard to listen to. It just offer nothing to the show positive at all. I mean, if she was just some jolly, happy-go-lucky something, it'd be different. But you an ass. You know what I'm saying? You just as bad as the men, if not worse. And you over there with your belly hanging down halfway down your thigh. Get the fuck up out of here. Like I said, I am aware that that is a whole person playing that role, but I'm not talking about the person. I'm talking about I gotta justify it to myself some kind of goddamn way because I feel bad talking about that person. But that's what I was thinking while I was watching the show. It just is. But yeah. Oh, the Mountain Dew song. That the Mountain Dew song at the end. I was like, I ain't never heard that before, and I done drank plenty goddamn Mountain Dew. And the only reason I ain't got no goddamn Mountain Dew is you know, I buy fucking store brand soda, so whatever fuck. But when I go out, I always give me a Diet Mountain Dew or some shit, if I can. But that's another thing that if you're not really paying attention to it, that Mountain Dew song was a tribute to Doggy. And that was her drink. She was one of them motherfuckers that drink. If you watching the show, you pick it up that, damn near all she drank is Mountain Dew. Even that little candy drink, that candy yellow drink that she made, that chick pissed in, that pissed me off. During the riot, the prison was actually running well for a little while. And then, yes, this is the kind of stupid shit that I'm talking about. During the riot, after the initial riot, man, it shows how stupid this shit can be. After the initial riot, everything actually calmed down. The prison was actually operating as a community. You know what I'm saying? They was actually mopping the floors and cleaning. They had all kind of shit running and food. The prison was like running like it was probably supposed to have run. Without no guards being there, no nothing. Nothing. You know what happened? They fucking ran out of coffee, and then everybody just started just fighting each other. Just like, that's the kind of shit I was talking about. It's just fucking stupid. It's just fucking stupid. Everybody just started fighting each other. Even people just like, why? Y'all couldn't have something actually happen legitimate for everybody just started fighting each other. Like they was all hypnotized or some shit, and somebody snapped their finger like, when I count to 3, everybody just gonna outright just start beating everybody's ass at the count of 3. 1, 2, 3! And then everybody just like, ah! Because they ran out of fucking coffee. They had this little coffee shop in there. Everybody was sitting in line. Something might have happened like this in real life. I don't know. A brawl might have broke out at fucking Dunkin's or fucking Starbucks somewhere when they was like, okay, we don't have no more goddamn lattes left. And everybody just lost their shit. Because that's exactly what happened. They had a whole little coffee stand barista thing going on. Everybody was sitting in line waiting. And then they was like, we ain't no coffee. And then it's so fucking dumb. It's so fucking dumb. Like, we ain't got no more coffee left. What? They don't have any more coffee left. Ah! It's like on an airplane when everybody just went fucking nuts. Like, come on, man. Like I said, you don't know what you want to be. You don't want to know. You don't know what you want to be. You got this whole riot situation where people are getting tortured and batons getting shoved up people's ass for fucking comedy. Motherfuckers is dying, having strokes in the goddamn, and y'all got some stupid comedy shit going on right alongside all this shit. It's just like, come on, man. You jerking me around, and not even in a good way either, man. You're jerking me around. Keep it. But you couldn't have that show like Girl Interrupted. I was watching, man. I think I stopped watching Girl Interrupted. I just got bored with it, and I was like, I don't want to watch this no more. Well, shit, it was only maybe like 10 minutes left. You can see the progression thing. I was like, shit, I got all the way through the goddamn movie. So like 10 minutes left of the movie. But it's like you got the whole comedy shit where half of it don't work, or I just don't find it for my taste. And then you got the other shit. All right, this other shit over here really ain't all that goddamn funny to me. And then if the show is just that, you know what? That's fine. You got some goofy comedy about motherfuckers in prison or whatnot. Okay. And then if you just have this show with just the dramatic shit in it, you fucking kill yourself after watching this damn show. Like literally. If you just watch this goddamn show with just that dramatic shit, which I mean you don't want to do, you gotta have some kind of levity in your goddamn show. You gotta be some easing into shit, you know what I'm saying? But plenty of shows do that. You know what I'm saying? But this show, if you just take it for just that part of it, bruh, you know, just hide all the hard drugs, no alcohol, no none of that shit, you know, just sit there after you watch the show and just take it all in. Just don't do nothing drastic. You know what I'm saying? Don't do nothing drastic. Please don't. And man, they jerk you all over the place. But it ain't until later on, season 6 and 7, where it does even out. It's still there, but it evens out a little bit. They have some goofy shit going on where, you know, they just can't help it. You know, they gonna have some stupid shit going on. And it's usually it's usually over the top. It's more than what it is than was needed. Like that one scene where all the guards was talking, and of course all the guards are always assholes, and they in there, all the guards in there doing like little humping shit in the little room they was in. And I don't know, I forgot what the fuck they was talking about. They was like, you got like 5 dudes in there all doing various humping motions and shit like that. And then that one female guard like walked in on them. She was there for a while before they realized she was there. And they was like, oh shit. And then she just like turned around and walked the fuck out like. And I was like, that didn't need to happen. It didn't need to fucking happen. They wrote some extra shit in there. Like that whole fantasy inmate thing where they got a whole little fantasy league about what's gonna happen with the, for different incidents that happen with the fucking inmates and shit, and then they be trying to, incite some of that shit that happens to get little points or whatever on the little, like really? Why? You know what I'm saying? Just thought shit. I'm just like, we already don't like these guards. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to make us like them even less. You know what I'm saying? It's been like that since the show started. Speaking of guards, Bennett, the one that got Diaz pregnant, was that a real pregnancy? I'm thinking that was a real pregnancy because they showed that actress with her shirt off. I think it was the bed bug episode. The bed bug episode, and they showed her with a, she just had a bra. She still had a, most of the motherfuckers just walking around in their underwears and shit like that. Them big prison drawers and bloomers or whatever the fuck. And she just had her little bottom scrubs on and no top. And I was like, she must have been like pregnant for real. She had to been pregnant for real, because if she wasn't pregnant for real, that was one hell of a makeup job. But her lower back was kind of wide, so that's like a prime weight gain area for for women. When they get pregnant, they had a bunch of weight right here around the back and whatever the fuck. So I was like, no, she must have. They shot this while she was whatever. And then it's a couple of other after the baby came or whatever the fuck. Now I'm pretty sure it happened like in real life, however they shot around that. That a lot of times when you see her, especially when they shot a bunch of her background stuff, she was angles. It's, they only shot her at certain angles, just to put it simply. You know, like what they have to do when women are pregnant, or they figure might be, you know, like if you just had a baby or some shit and they gotta shoot you, so they have you dress up and you just might be laying down on some shit like she was in, I know the couple of scenes they showed her where she was always laying down leaning like this or some shit when she was you know, in the scene talking and whatnot. Ain't no big thing. You just kind of notice stuff like that, you know. But I mean, it was in the fucking show, but the guard disappeared. That guard they got a Bennett, after they did his little background thing, I ain't see him no more. I don't even remember what fucking season it was, what, season 1 or 2, but you didn't see him no more. I think it was season 2. You didn't see, he just like abruptly was just gone. I was like, did something happen to that actor? Or, because it wasn't like a graceful write-off to where like something happened with him and he didn't work with them no more. It was just like he was just out of there. And they just mentioned that they just mentioned in the show that we ain't heard from Bennett. Bennett was just gone. They didn't show him quitting. At least not that I could have missed it. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't show it. They didn't mention him getting fired, or did they? I could be wrong on that. You know, but I don't remember. You know, like I said, I watched fucking 7 seasons of TV in like 3, maybe 4 days. So shit, and all that shit ain't gonna stick, especially from like early in the series. So, but I didn't remember him quitting. I'm thinking, I'm like, do I remember him? I remember him talking. The last time I remember him talking was when he went in there to Caputo, and Caputo was like, shit, man, this is just my second. He brought that shit with him, telling Caputo that baby was his, and Caputo like, I did not hear that. He said, it's just my second day. Because he had bringing that shit on me. I just got this job, nigga. You bringing this shit in here? God damn it, man. That's my second day. You bringing this shit in here, and I'm already I got thrown in here on some shit, and you coming in here with some shit to go on top of that, and like, goddamn. But he didn't. He told him to shut the fuck up, go on by these goddamn business, and told him to stay away from that girl, which of course he didn't. Which is another thing that got me when that shit was going on between Bennett and Diaz, and they were supposed to be all undercover and all this other shit. You know, in a relationship, and they didn't love each other. Well, the fuck, that shit didn't seem to be like. It didn't seem like nothing that was. You know, they just out chatting in the open, even on the inside of prison. He just over there, just blah 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 blah. I'm like, if that's somebody that you undercover dating in prison, and you're a guard and shit inmate, y'all really overt about that shit. You know what I'm saying? That's supposed to be like some cloak and dagger type shit. You know, where y'all was meeting out around the little cabin outside or whatever the fuck that was. You know what I'm saying? And that's supposed to be it. If you in prison and you doing that shit and you see, I don't give a damn what you feel about that person. In prison, you look over there, you might give them a little nod, but you keep right on the fuck going. You don't sit there next to their goddamn living area, you know, just chilling out, just talking and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you know, you don't talk to nobody else, but you sit there and y'all sitting there chatting and blah, 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 blah. But even that whole arc was stupid. It was stupid. Because both of them going back and forth, they end up framing Mendez, the asshole guard. The asshole guard slept with the goddamn girl, and he had a condom on. He was like, well, shit, you got to do it again. She was like, ah. And ended up doing it again, try to, you know, because they was trying to, you know, she was still kind of early, I guess, so they had to blame the pregnancy, trying to blame the pregnancy on Mendez. And Mendez ended up falling in love with the chick, which was just cartoonishly bad, which fits the character, I guess. But I'm just like, none of this shit makes sense, because both of them is okay. We shouldn't blame him. I feel bad about blaming him. Then the other one gonna blame him. Then the other person go, I don't want to blame him. How do y'all still going back and forth on the shit after you done already did it? You done fucked this man twice. You feeling bad about framing him? And then you like, you need to step up and be the father and be in a relationship. You do know if he do that, he going to prison, right? That was kind of the whole point of getting that other guard out of there. You do know that. You do your time, and then we be a family. What? You telling this dude, okay, you need to step up and be a man. A prison guard, they got you pregnant. You gonna tell him to step up? What the hell? You know what I'm saying? What in all the hell are you talking about? You done lost your goddamn mind? You do know this man is going to prison for rape. You know what I'm saying? You are going to prison for rape. I don't know what years, but he going to prison. Just like Mendez did, the dude that you framed. You are going to prison. So, I don't know, man. It don't make no sense. But then again, I don't call that chick Dumbass Diaz for a reason. Because she continued to be a dumbass all the way to the end of the show. All the way to the end of the show. She just the dumb dummy. All the way through. All the way to the end of the show where her mom had got out of prison. Her stupid ass, she ain't no goddamn better. And she ended up getting sent back to prison, which kind of understandable, but that shit even went up over the top. All Latino women don't go bat fucking crazy. Now, you got this grown-ass man sleeping with your 13-year-old daughter. I understand that, but goddamn. You know what I'm saying? Because she beat that dude ass, dude. That was kind of funny, though. But all the rest of the shit she gone when she was busting and went out the car, that wasn't even that dude car and shit. And when you start dealing with her and her children, I don't even remember her name. It's another Diaz, I guess. But that whole thing, that whole mother-daughter thing was just retarded. You know what I'm saying? It's just that I can't say it no worse. It was retarded. You just like, mama is worse than the goddamn girl, and the girl is stupid. Well, the girl is dumber. The mom got more goddamn sense. But it's just like, because when the mom got released from prison, she went out and started smuggling dope back into the prison that was being sold by her daughter. I don't think that was her intention for her daughter to sell the shit, but that's how it turned out. Just like, shit, man, fuck. Another motherfucker fucking with a goddamn inmate. No, he met her outside of prison. I take that back. He was a prison guard. She was selling that Herbalife, Nutra Herbal or whatever the fuck you want to call it. That she was selling that shit outside the prison. That guard came out there and told her she had to move, but he hit on her and blah, 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 blah. And that's how he lost his goddamn job. Because after she got... And that is stupid. This is another thing I said about doing dumbass shit just to move the fucking plot along. That guard, that particular guard, and that Diaz chick didn't have no business being together. She treated that dude so bad, you know what I'm saying, to where it was obvious that she didn't give no shits about that dude. She was just using him for whatever resource she can get out of him. And it was blatantly obvious the way they wrote that shit, to where anybody watching the show is just rolling their goddamn eyes back in the fucking head. You know what I'm saying? Just like, really? Really? And the dude is just like, And then it was like, okay, this dude find out that she's smuggling heroin, whatever the fuck it is, in his little protein drink. She figured out, I don't know how the fuck she figured out how to do it. I got a bunch of protein canisters up there. It ain't no fucking bottom shit to smoke shit in. I don't know why the fuck they did that. They just made that shit up. It ain't no way, it ain't no detachable. It's all one molded piece of fucking plastic. It ain't no detachable shit at the fucking bottom. You know what I'm saying? If you find a way to put it into the top some kind of way, I'll be able to believe it a little bit. But what is this detachable shit at the bottom? What is that? And then, whatever. It's dumb. It's fucking stupid. And then eventually he find out. He at the prison. He figure out, oh goddamn, what the, you know what I'm saying? She's smuggling, she's sending shit in through me. Because what happens is when he get finished with the protein, he throw the protein in the trash. They know to go in the trash to get the protein thing out of there and take off the little bottom, and that's where the little drugs is. This motherfucker, this stupid ass motherfucker, stupid ass, and it's so dumb. It don't make no sense. I mean, it's take all the little credibility out the writing of the show. You don't really give a fuck what to go on after that. He pissed off, go over, get home and show, this shit right here. She get pissed off and start talking about it and blaming shit on him. You and I didn't make no money. How I'm gonna raise my kids in this little ass house? Blah 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 blah. It's so I'm like, what the fuck is you? Heifer. And then he just taking this shit. I'm like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you? You can't get no pussy nowhere else? Nowhere? You know what I'm saying? That woman had like 30 kids. I can't imagine that pussy being that goddamn great to where you can't let that shit go. Because she left. She actually left. She left, was camping on his ass. You just found out that this broad is smuggling dope into prison under your fucking nose. Through you, you found out, confront her about the shit. She turned the shit on you and start talking about you like a dog and leave. And then she come back a little later to pick up the rest of her shit and you don't let her go. You so hung up on this, bro. You don't let her go. You hold the door so she can't get out and you start talking about ways to get the shit in and out the goddamn prison. What the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you? That makes absolutely no sense at all. I watch a lot of TV. I said this for like third time. I watch a lot of TV. That's a lot of shit you can do to move the plot along without people just doing some absurdly stupid ass shit. That's on the goddamn list. Makes no sense at all. I'm like, come on, man. What the fuck is up with that? I mean, really? You gonna let that woman talk to you like that? And then you gonna go along with smuggling, which obviously backfires because, eventually she go off the shit with her daughter. You got her kids living in your house now. She gets sent to prison because she found out that grown-ass man was fucking a little 13-year-old who was willingly being fucked, but 13-year-old, she can't consent to shit. But, yeah. And she go off, it gets sent back to prison. So she in Litchfield Max with everybody else. And she go in there, it's just done. So she go back in there, she's still talking shit to her daughter because her daughter done rose up the ranks or whatever the fuck because she accidentally killed somebody, the person that was over her block. She tried to drug her a little bit, but she ended up drugging her too much and killed her. Little so-called boyfriend that she had in there that was running shit because she was turning gay. After the riot, she the one that started the bullshit in the riot when she shot that guard in the leg. She ended up taking the rap for that. I think she volunteered to do that. And she's a lifer. You go from being in a minimum security prison to now you got life because you shot a goddamn guard and he ended up dying. So, yeah, she in there for life. So she gives no fucks. But she in there running the little drug trade in there. Everything got to run through her however you want it. And her mama come in there trying to exert her authority over her daughter. So they clashing. And I'm just like, and he was like, well, shit, you in here selling the drugs, but the drugs come from me. So I'm at the top of the pyramid now. I'm just like, both of y'all are fucking stupid. But the best part of that whole thing was when her and her mom, because I mean the daughter, the actresses are different sizes. The daughter is a lot bigger than the mom. But the mom is a no-take shit ass motherfucker. She punched the daughter in the neck, and that had to been like the happiest fucking. It wasn't even a fight because the camera cut with the daughter on the ground like ah. She was like, yak, right in the goddamn throat, nigga. I was like, yes. But the thing about it is that mama is still in a relationship with the fucking with the guard, and all the rest of the guards know who that is. You know what I'm saying? So he got to run around there like he. But instead of just playing shit cool and nothing, they ended up giving her a job detail down in the shoe where it ain't hollering nobody yet. That's down where the solitary confinement cells and shit are. They go down there and start fucking. So they in there fucking and shit. And the fucking warden warden and somebody else end up walking in on him fucking. And he got fired immediately. Which is, that was like the first of 3 people getting fired at the end of the show. Including the fucking warden herself, because they had switched the warden to the little blackguard. They gave her that shit, you know, it's on some affirmative action type of shit. And I'm like, she got the job, and she was doing the job pretty well after she was in there for a while, you know what I'm saying? But the way that they made it try to look is that, oh, she didn't know what the fuck she was doing. So, as a warden, some shit broke out, or fight, or whatever the fuck, and she had to make a decision on, I don't know what the fuck, some shit happened. She had to make a decision on something. And they made it seem like she didn't know what the fuck to do. And I'm like, that is so dumb. She was a damn guard about less than a week ago. Why y'all making it seem like she don't know the procedure for doing shit? She was a guard at that prison. The only difference is she wear a suit and got an office now. Don't make it seem like she ain't know what the fuck she was doing in that situation, which is something that a guard is supposed to happen. She would know that. And they made it seem like she wouldn't know that, like she was just working in a prison for the first time. I'm just like, this is stupid. She wouldn't know, because she ended up, it was a fight or something broke out, she ended up getting hit in the whole thing and all kind of, just made her look real bad. But they didn't think about that shit to like she a guard. She was George. She just got promoted from that goddamn shit to the warden. She wouldn't know what the fuck to do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, she'll do a whole lot better than that big giant 500-pound guard they got. That chick ain't doing shit for nobody. Unless they need to restrain somebody, you just have her sit on the motherfucker. That's it. Then you have a whole nother Poussey situation coming up. So I'm like, okay, fuck it. And at this point, I'm not caring, because when the episode go off, it's like, okay, you got 2 episodes before before the end of the series. You know what I'm saying? They do that on Netflix, to where when you start getting towards the end of a season, like 3 episodes or 2 episodes, when that little progress bar come where you can skip the credits, it tells you such and such episodes left. Starting to see spots now. God damn it. And it's like I got 2 episodes left. Let me just get through this. And they still had all this tasty shit going on, because that took up a big ass part of the latter part of the series, where she was trying to, figure out what the hell she was going to do to herself, because she wanted to kill herself. And at this point, I was kind of hoping that they would just do it. Let her just kill herself. Y'all, I mean, everything else in this show is turning to shit. You might as well go all the fucking way. But she, they had her finally just finding her way to where she was okay with where she was. She'll use her time in prison to make, do good and help other people in there for whatever the fuck reason, because she was, whatever. But at that point, I was just kind of tired of it. I was like, they had already had her try to fight the case, and that shit wasn't going anywhere. Which I was like, she got life. And then the other chick that testified against her got out. She got out, but I don't understand exactly how that shit went. She found a job. Did she keep that job? I don't know, but as far as the parole shit go, you gotta have an address. She didn't have an address. She got kicked out of Mama's house. Mama told her not to come back, because you had that whole drama with her mama and her daughter, which didn't know that she was her daughter. She thought it was the girl thought it was her sister, but she ended up finding out, and it's a whole big drama that I don't give a fuck about. But that ended, I mean, she was basically a hobo. She's homeless when it ended. Which, like I say, everything ain't gotta go ideally, but, she could be working that job at that little old folks home or whatever, and not have an address of her own at the moment, because she was some kind of stable, you know what I'm saying? Because she was sleeping in a tent city. They showed her sleeping in a tent. They showed her walking down the damn street, and then it showed her going into this little tent. Like, oh shit, she's sleeping outside in the fucking tent. And then it was just like, okay, this is fucked up. But I don't think she was hard on that, because that character in particular she probably, you know, it ain't somewhere she want to be, but I'm thinking that she probably think that she deserve a bunch of that. Taking that she testified against Tasty, you know, to not get extra time or whatever that whole deal was, and end up getting Tasty a fucking life sentence or whatever the fuck. And she felt bad about that. So when she got out, I mean, she was doing whatever she could to, survive and all this other stuff. But, you know, when shit go wrong, she's kind of just like, yeah, fuck it. You know, I'll deal with it, you know. You know what I'm saying? I'll deal with it. But, like I say, I take that kind of stuff out of the show, and I'm like, the show could have been so much better. I still hadn't watched any reviews on it, and I might at this point. I just started watching a video. I want to see what some other thoughts on it, and I don't want to watch no video with somebody trashing the goddamn show, kind of like I'm doing. But I personally, it's not something I would revisit. It ain't all bad, but it's just the writing and the mood of the show was so inconsistent that it just threw me the fuck off. So I want to watch some reviews and see what other people's thoughts are, but I don't want to watch no review. Now, if I watch a review and they start off with this is the best show on Netflix and blah blah blah, and they just jerking the show off and I just be like, pass. You know, I want to watch some shit where it's kind of like, okay, we got this and we got that, we got this and we got that. I don't want nobody just shitting on the show the whole goddamn time, because I can do that on my own. But I don't want to see nobody that's just got this one-sided aspect of they just like the show no matter what flaws with what the fuck was in it or some shit like that. It just that wouldn't entertain me at all either. I'm like, you just gonna overlook all that fucked up shit in the show. You know, no matter how bad you like it. You know what I'm saying? No matter how good you like it. All the shows I watch, you know what I'm saying, the stuff that I even like. I'm a big Star Trek fan, but I am fully aware of all the faults. Fully. More than fully. I noticed that shit glaringly when I'm watching. I'm like, oh, skip. You know, you get them episodes where you just like, skip. I will not be watching this episode. So I'm kind of looking forward to that, though. I'm kind of looking forward to that, where I'll be like, okay, let me watch and see what some other people think about the show. And then that, depending on what kind of shit, because I might run across some shit a while from now, to where you watch people that do episode by episode analysis. And that's how I rewatch a lot of shows. I'll watch a show about a show. You know what I'm saying? You can do that on YouTube, and especially with a show like that, it's gonna be a whole bunch of shit. And there's gonna be them fan people out there that what they whole channel is just based on that one show, to where that's all they do. They'll do a character analysis of all the characters. Goddamn episodes be like an hour long. And then you got the fucking episode by episode review that they'll go and do a whole review of a whole episode, big 45-minute ass review, longer than the episode itself. They'll do all this talk like I just did, but on one goddamn episode. You know, eventually somewhere down the line, I will watch that. Now, it's too soon after the show now. I just got through watching that shit, some shit like that on Breaking Bad. Well, I can do that because I watched Breaking Bad some years ago. So, you know, instead of watching the show again, I'm like, fuck it, I'll watch a podcast or a show about a show, you know, kind of catch me up instead of just trying to watch the show over again. And then get some aspects of the show that I didn't catch. And that's the most important shit about watching reviews and retrospectives and all that kind of stuff about shows, is that a lot of times, especially if they super nerdy and shit like that, they be pulling shit out the show that you didn't even know the fuck happened. And you sat there and watched the whole goddamn thing. You like, huh, I damn sure missed that. So I'm kind of looking forward to that, but that's some stuff that I'd have to put on my watch later list and then watch later on down the line. Right now, I'm trying to find other stuff to watch, and I end up watching fucking Girl Interrupted, which was the wrong choice. I did watch Wanda Sykes special on Netflix this morning, so that was that was entertaining. But yeah, the movie I watched, Girl Interrupted, was like a really, really, really toned down version of Orange is the New Black, kinda. It's about some girls in some kind of mental institution or some shit like that, and blah blah blah. And I'm looking at that show, I'm like, it ain't a whole lot of gay shit in this show. It was one little girl on girl kiss, I guess, but I'm like, this seems like a very extremely boring Orange is the New Black. It is. Who was in there? Brittany Murphy, Winona Ryder, and Whoopi Goldberg, Angelina Jolie, and some other white chick that I done seen in some movies that I don't know her name. But this, like I said, that was a while ago. All those people look way different now than when when this movie came out. It's an old movie. Because Whoopi Goldberg don't look like that no more. Whoopi Goldberg been looking the same for quite some time now. Anyway, that's my discussion on Orange is the New Black. If y'all like the show, good on you. If you didn't like the show, still good on you. I'm for to watch me some. I'm watching a video now about Red Dead Redemption, so I will catch y'all on my next video. All right, there, where the button at? There we go. Yeah, there go the button. Nope.